G'day. Well, here we are again at Jim Smith's old humpy in Bagooney. Yeah, you want to be careful of her, mate. She's dangerous, Yorky. She's got 6 brothers, all older than her, and she could beat 'em all in a rabbit shooting contest. She used to go rabbit shooting with her dad when she was only 7 years old. She's been shooting for about 50 years, mate.
You stop that, Jim Smith. I was only 20 when we got married, and we've only been married for 8 years.
Is that all? Struth. It felt longer than that.
I'm warning you, Jimmy,
said Shirl with a mischievous smile on her face. All right, enough's enough. Have a cigar, Yorky. You can buy me a pack when we go to town again. Thanks, Jim. I'll buy you a couple of packs so I'm not in debt. Just 1 pack will be enough, mate, or you'll put me in debt. Can I see your 22, Jim? Yeah, mate. First door on the left, down the passage. It's leaning against the wall near me bed. Check it out first and make sure there's not one up the spout. Great, I said as I took off down the passage. The rifle was right where he said it would be, so I opened the bolt, checked to make sure that it was empty, and took it back to the kitchen with me. How'd you get the magazine out, Jim? Press that catch under the back of the mag, mate. It should fall out on its own. Not a bad little pea rifle, Yorky, eh? It's a beauty, Jim. Would you mind if I bought one for myself while I'm here? Why should I mind, Yorky? Long as you're careful with it. I'll help you pick out a good one if you want me to. When it gets really hot, we can go rabbit shooting of a night. I made big money at this time last year, eh, Shirl? I put Jim's 22 rifle back in the bedroom where I found it, then went back out to finish my tea. I was feeling really happy now. I already felt like one of the family, so I promised myself that I'd work hard for him so he'd make as much money as possible. Come on, mate. Let's go outside. I'll show you me aviary that I'm building.
Toot, toot, toot,
said Tony. All right, mate. You can come as well. What did he say, Jim? He said he wants to come with us. All my kids except the youngest have got a speech problem, Yorky. We've had 'em to specialists all over the place, but no one's been able to help so far. The last bloke said he's pretty sure they'll grow out of it as they get bigger. Once you've been around 'em a few weeks, you'll be able to understand 'em as well as me. Their IQs have been tested, and they're above average. I sometimes think they prefer their own language to English. The only time I can understand them is the odd times when they have a blue, and once they get shouting and yelling at each other, I haven't got a bloody clue what they're fighting about, so I have to separate them and get each individual side so I know what to say.
Toto Papu,
said Tony, who was about 5 years old. Yeah, mate, that's your wee juggler. As we walked towards the aviary, Here you go, mate. It's only a small one so far, but this year I'm going to make it much bigger, 'cause I got me eye on a lot of nests now, and with your help, Yorky, we'll get a lot more, mate, 'cause I'm too scared these days to climb as high as I used to.
No worries, mate,
I said to Jim, testing out my newfound Aussie accent on him. I'd only known Jim for a few hours, so he hadn't known my full, broad Yorkshire accent. You see that wee juggler, mate? He's also called a Major Mitchell. Well, those blokes nest up high in the dead limbs of gum trees, so they're pretty hard to get at. And that fellow there, he's a sulphur crested. They nest even higher.
What's the others, Jim?
Well, there's a couple of ringnecks, 4 bluebonnets, half a dozen grass parrots, 2 pairs of quarry hens. That's those pink cheek ones over there. The rest of them are various rosellas and lorries.
This is a great aviary, Jim.
Oh, she's not bad, mate, but after the summer's over, she'll be a lot bigger. Anyway, Yorky, let's get your gear inside and you can make yourself at home. I'm going to chop a bit of wood for the missus this arvo, 'cause once we start this contract, we'll be pretty busy, mate. We carried my cases into the bedroom that was reserved for me. God's truth, what you got in these bloody ports? You'll have to stack one each side of the room, mate, or they'll fall through the floor.
Are you serious, Jim?
Nah, mate, just kidding. But I'm not kidding about the weight. You got enough gear in here to look after a bloody army, mate.
It's what the Big Brother movement told me I had to have out here.
Sounds to me, mate, that those blokes have never been out of Sydney.
They probably haven't,
I said to him. That evening, after a cold shower outside under a tree, we had a good feed and I went to bed early. I was so tired that as soon as my head hit the pillow, I was engulfed with darkness. The next thing I remember was Jim's voice saying, "Come on, Yorky, get out of that fart sack, mate. The sun'll be up before you. If not..." Jim and I worked at the fence every day just about. The weather was getting hotter and hotter as the summer progressed. One day he said to me, "You want some fried eggs for smoko, Yorky?"
Yeah, but there's no electricity out here, and it's far too dry to start a fire, so how are you going to make fried eggs?
Grab that shovel, mate, and wash it off with a little bit of water, and then lay it out flat in the sun over there for a couple of hours. When lunchtime came, Jim took 4 eggs out of the tucker box and said to me, "Go get the shovel, Yorky. It should be hot enough by now." The shovel had been laying out flat in the hot sun where I'd left it. I brought it over to where Jim was sat under a shady tree. He put some butter on the shovel, and within seconds it started to melt. As soon as the butter had melted, he said, "Put it back in the sun, mate, and crack these 4 eggs into it." I got the shock of my life when the cold egg yolks hit the hot butter and started to crackle. Within 5 minutes, The eggs were as good as any fried eggs I'd seen anywhere, although I broke the yolks while trying to get them out of the bush frying pan. That frying pan had to be the longest handle I'd ever seen, and it didn't need to be washed up after. On another occasion, we were walking through the scrub looking for some parrots' nests. Jim spotted a used hole, so he sent me up the tree. Surprisingly enough, it was not very high.
It might be a ringneck's nest, I said to Jim as I pulled myself up to the next branch.
When I got level with the hole, I called out to Jim,
"If it's a ringneck, it must have a sweet tooth."
"Why?"
"Because I can smell honey in the hole."
"Oh, shit. Get out of that tree, Yorky. It's not a parrot's nest. It's a beehive, mate." I only needed telling once. I slid down the tree as fast as I could go and ripped the leg of my trousers in the process. I'd seen a few bees hovering around the tree when I went up, but I didn't think any more of it. No sooner were my feet on the ground, the bees started to fly out of the hole. They were really pissed now as they chased after Jim and me, who were by this time tearing through the scrub like a couple of old grey roos with a pack of roo dogs at their heels.
"Yow! They're on the back of my neck, Jim!"
"Just keep running, Yorky. Don't wave your arms around, or you'll make 'em more cranky."
"Yow! One just got me under my eye and on my cheek."
"Keep running, Yorky. They're giving up now." A few hundred yards, Jim stopped and turned around. "They've given up, mate," he said between laughs.
"What are you laughing at? They stung me neck at least 4 times and once on my cheek, see?"
Jim apologized for laughing, but the apology didn't stop his laughter as he said, "A couple of 'em got me too, Yorky. I can't help it, mate. You sounded so funny when you said, 'The ringneck must have a sweet tooth.' That's when I realized it was a beehive, but it was too late then. They were already coming out of the hole. Give us a look at your neck, Yorky," he said, still laughing away.
"It's not bloody funny,"
I said, reverting back to my broad Yorkshire accent. This started him up, laughing even louder. "Stand still, mate. You got a couple of stings still sticking out of your neck." He used his bush penknife and his thumbnail to remove the 2 remaining stings. Then he looked around for a leaf to rub the back of my neck with. After he rubbed the back of his arm where he'd gotten stung. The bee stings hurt for quite a while, but as soon as the burning started to fade, I could see the funny side of it myself.
"You're the bushman. Why don't we go back with the right gear and take the honeycombs out?"
"Not on your life, mate. I'm scared of bees, and they always seem to pick up on me fear. I only went honey gathering once. That was enough for me. It's easier to buy it at the store."